Hello, my name is Malcolm Mundy. I'm an astrologer here in Austin, Texas, and this is the United States of America portion of my predictions for 2012. Okay, here we go. The United States of America was started as an entity on July 4th, 1776 at 3:05 a.m. There are different charts. I've been fronted, the Freemason chart with some important stars and Taurus on the ascendant, and other people, like Robert Ham, noted astrologer, says the United States has Sagittarius rising because of all the lawyers and preoccupation with sports and stuff. And I've looked at different charts, dabbled with them, and I still stand firm. July 4th at 1776, 3:05 a.m., Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Anyway, Jupiter is going to be in the 11th house until March of 2012, and then it goes into the 12th house. Jupiter represents the law, I think. This is a different interpretation of Jupiter, that you have to look at astrology and look at the different aspects as far as different meanings, what planets may represent. Jupiter can sometimes represent the law, and the 11th house, I think it sort of represents the states, or the associates of the corporation or the entity itself. And with the law being modified dramatically on the states, I think you're starting to see some discontent. Jupiter represents the law in certain aspects of astrology regarding corporations and countries and entities and so forth. And I think you've seen big-time changes for federal law and its applications to state law. And I think that's what Jupiter has been doing in the 11th house over the past year. It's now leaving the 11th house and going into the 12th house. Jupiter in the 12th house on an entity's chart has a lot to do with institutions like hospitals, prisons, and bureaucracy for that matter. And I think you're going to see an expansion of this as Jupiter goes into the 12th house. And it's also secret activities and secret intelligence. And it is my opinion the United States is not going to have any kind of a terrorist attack on its soil. I think we are not going to go to war with Iran for 2012. I do think that we're going to do an economic warfare against the Republic of Iran, and I'll be talking about that with the Federal Reserve and Wall Street, but I'll tell you this, I do think they're going to try to drop the price of oil. So this would help Obama in terms of getting reelected, and at the same time it's going to really hurt Iran because they're in the process of finishing their nuclear station and they need money now to run operations and so forth, and I think this is how they're going to get hit, is reduced oil revenues. Anyway, Jupiter in the 12th will provide protection against any kind of terrorist attack, and watch for an expansion of, say, hospitals, and yes, prisons, especially if they're to house people like, say, supporters of Ron Paul that are a little bit, I don't know, too much in favor of the Constitution, which these days has been deemed to be dangerous by certain law enforcement agencies. Anyway, Saturn will be in the 5th house. 2 words, strong dollar. The 5th house rules speculation, on financial speculation, and just general insight and activities involving children and financial speculation. With Saturn there, 2 words, strong dollar. Until maybe around near election time, near the end of the summer, then I think we'll see the dollar fall, and that's, I think, when you'll start to see credit expand. Credit has an effect like heroin, in my opinion, and when you start to dole out credit, it's like announcing you have a supply of heroin to a bunch of heroin addicts. And we'll probably see that right before the election, I think, and it's, again, going to help as far as Obama trying to get reelected. Then we move on to Uranus. Uranus will be in the 11th house. We're going to have shocks and surprises, which is very Uranian nature in terms of who our associates will be, and our new associates will be. Watch for new associates to be people like Libya and Saudi Arabia in terms of the quote-unquote war upon Iran, along with longtime ally Israel, which would be kind of interesting. So I think we'll have some shocks and surprises there, and we will probably have loss of association from contemporary financial associates such as Russia, or it's not called Russia anymore, the Belavich Accords, and China, and maybe some Far East countries that are Muslim, like Indonesia. I think you're going to probably see, we'll gain a few associates, but we're probably going to lose a lot of important associates with this Iran situation. Then we come on to the 10th house with Neptune in it. As was the case with Rami, this is not a good place for Neptune. The reputation of the United States is going to be viewed by a lot of people in the world as fraudulent, untrustworthy, and illusory. And for this reason, a lot of people will not buy U.S. bonds. They will invest in U.S. Treasury bills, which is quick sources for protection against the unstable euro and the unstable yen, but they will not invest in our Treasury bonds. And I think you'll probably see that be passed on to the U.S. citizen as a requirement for tax-advantaged investments. And let's see. 7th house, Pluto. Pluto will be in the 7th house all year. Pluto is the planet of obsession, control, and secret agendas, secret powers. And the 7th house is courts of law and courts in America. Watch for continued attacks on the Constitution, as was the case with the National Defense Authorization Act, as well as the push for Agenda 21 by the United Nations, which calls for eminent domain as a way to grab land from people for defense of the environment. And it also pushes the net worth of certain individuals, i.e. Warren Buffett. But with this, watch for more desire for limitations on individual freedom. You'll probably see some trial balloons go on this this summer by the president, I think. And now, who do I think is going to win the election, November 6, 2012? Well, Mars is going to be squaring Neptune on the United States chart that day. I think there will be a lot of fraud. I think there will be a lot of deception. I think these electronic machines are fraudulent. And I think Barack Obama will win. He will be re-elected president again for a second term, and will probably be the first person born in Kenya to do so. And that's it for the United States section. We're now going to go to the Federal Reserve.